first I have to flip this inside out. It's just bicycle tube. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, like these jaws, they have a 45 notch in them and a magnet so they don't pop all over the place. Great for, you know, pipe and handles and all that kind of junk. Can you see? I don't think you can. There you go. Okay, I have to turn this inside out. I also have to swap batteries or else I'm going to be talking to the nothingness. The camera's running out of power. Last time I did it, I forced it in halfway through and then I stuck the compressed air in and shot it out. And it kind of worked, so I'll try that again. Perhaps one of the things that I hate the most in the world, because I've become hypersensitive to noise now because of living in suburbia, perhaps this thing that I hate the most is leaf blowers. They're obnoxious. Aside from the fact that they come at an environmental price, they also make noise pollution, which you should consider. If you're a decent neighbor, you should consider noise pollution. It's awful. I don't want to hear your crap. Whenever I make noise here, I put my door down so that people don't listen to a table saw running for 45 minutes. I'm considerate of noise. But making videos, oh my goodness, it makes you hypersensitive. You start to hear every helicopter and crow and things that normally wouldn't bother you now really get on my nerves. No, not yet. Okay, here goes. Yeah. Alcohol works sometimes. If you're doing bike grips or something. Oh wait, back up. The reason that I turned it inside out is because the outside of the tube has these little ridges on it and the inside is smoother. It's just more friendly on the hands. Now, as I was saying, if you're doing bike grips or something, especially like the ones on dirt bikes or a quad, they're really, really tight. So you could probably use some starting fluid or some denatured alcohol that dries quickly. But here, this is foamy, and I don't want to trap moisture in there. It'll never come out. Trick 1, of course, is air. Trick 2, we want to rotate. We want to twist. I'll give you a better view. If you have any complaints, I don't care. No, I do. I do want to hear your criticism about the tripod thing, because we're in tripod mode now. If you prefer that, let me know. However, if you have complaints about the white balance or the audio or the exposure, I don't want to hear it because this is off the cuff sort of stuff. That is awesome. It's spongy and durable and rubbery. I love it. It's great. So this new house has a double garage, much bigger than this. But it's not finished yet, so I would have to insulate it and drywall it. The house has some pretty unique features, but the reason that we're interested is the property. It is incredibly private, and it joins hundreds of acres of state land, which makes it very private. It's also not far from the river, But I can once again use my quads and bicycles and run in the woods and everything else. Nah, maybe I should cut it right there in that little spot. Another consideration that I need to start making is whether I should show myself. I really don't have any aversion to showing myself, to be perfectly honest. It's just that when I started doing this, I figured if I made this about my personality more than about the ideas, then I would be selling out. That's the way that I thought. And I'm not sure if I agree with that now. I do acknowledge that without a personality, it's much more difficult to achieve any measure of success, because an online persona is, well, it's just a valuable currency in this game. Still a little bit too long. Right? And as long as I'm faceless, there are people that are just going to treat me like I'm not real. And just because of how difficult it is, I have to, in every shot, make sure that my face doesn't show up, and there are people looking for it, and I've had people send me messages about how they know who I am and everything else, and it's kind of creepy. And I would really like to just take the approach of, yeah, I know that you know who I am, and I don't give a damn. This is really hard, and you're kind of in the way. And you cost me work quality a lot, you know. So it would be nice if I could just put you to the side and not have to hide from you. And also, just because if you're going to come along for my adventure, it would be nice to level with you finally, right? Do you like that? I kind of like that. The stupid part about this is that I'm already done with all the lopping. I already did it earlier. I'm finished with the chainsawing, and I even split all of the wood with Matt. Who's Matt? If you've watched enough of my videos, you'll probably know. But I suppose since this property has so much property, that I am pretty far from being done with lopping. There will be a lot of cutting trees and burning and everything else if I move there. And I'm all for that. I love it. That's what I want in the... I'm a conservationist. I'm a naturalist in the Thoreauvian sense. I want to be in the woods. And for that, you have to have a good pair of loppers. Besides, these have 3 times the cutting power. With what as your basis? I mean, come on. What's the basis for comparison? 3 times as opposed to what? Idiots. I can't believe you're still here, to be honest. I mean, I tried some pretty dirty tricks to get rid of you guys. And I probably will try some more in the future. I'm not making fun of you, though. We're all consumers of media, not just you. I'm also a consumer of media. None of us are exempt from it. Ooh, yeah, I need more space. Did you hear that? Stuff falling over. Ooh, want to see something cool? I'll tell you a secret. Okay, look. Yeah, you thought I was just somebody that hated block planes, right? Come on, it's a primary tool. Of course I have them, and of course I treat them with respect, especially when you work on the sole getting them nice. This one's still in the process. But it's kind of like a bandsaw box, I suppose. You rip a thin sheet of 2x4, and then you scroll saw out the footprint of it, and then you make a little spot for the blade. It locks in. And what do we have here? A magnet. There's a penny stuffed in there and hot glued, just so that stuff doesn't get all stuck to it, because there's a neodymium magnet there. And that keeps it, look, even at an angle it doesn't fall out. Now, I'll tell you another secret. The video where I threw the block plane into the pile of crap, I had tape on the sole. I wasn't going to risk damaging it. It takes hours and hours and hours to do this. I just like to poke at the tool fetishists because it's silliness. It's just a tool. But this is a good solution. I want to hang it on the wall, but I haven't got around to that yet. No point in even doing it here if I'm going to move. Okay, squeegee. As that asphalt sealer stuck to the bottom portion of the squeegee, it dried and deformed it, so I stuck the rubber on clamps after I cleaned it to try to restore its shape, but it doesn't look like it's coming back. I think I might stretch it in though when I install it. This, I would like to give you more details, but no time. You can figure out how to make one. I made a lot of these in my life, and why? Because they're easy. You just take a piece of rubber roofing like this. You could probably double up a piece of bike tube rubber. Maybe, I don't know. Or you could use a piece of polyethylene from milk jugs and just overlap it with seams. There are probably lots of ways that you can go about making one. You don't have to have roll roofing rubber, but if you can find this stuff, man, is it handy. The thicker the better too. Try to get it like an 1/8 inch thick. It's hard to find. Got some from one of my dad's friends who did commercial roofing, and I got a big scrap that was more than I could ever use. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the squeegee. We had one of my old co-workers at one of the places I used to work. He was into the Harley Davidson thing. Wow, this is hard. I'm going to clamp it down. Yeah, he was into Harley Davidsons, and he was the nicest guy. So, I had a lot of downtime at that job, and I had access to a shop, and I was the only carpenter there. Or the only one that was capable in carpentry, rather. So for one of his birthdays, I made a Harley Davidson squeegee. It was much different from this, but I painted it black and then put like orange flames all on it that I had used an X-Acto knife to stencil out. It's the paint, that's why it's not. Normally it went right in, but I just painted it, so now the channel is much thinner. But yeah, it had Harley Davidson flames. Because I guess he kept his bike in his garage, and he had mentioned at some point that it would be nice to have a squeegee, and so I made him one. It's funny, I think. Harley Davidson squeegee. It's kind of silly. It's cool as hell, though. Get off it. Okay, this is a case where we can use alcohol. I keep denatured alcohol in a bottle. I used to cut it with water, but now I just use it straight. Get over it. Don't be so cheap. It's good here because it'll dry, because it can come out of the channel. And hopefully it'll give me a little bit of, yep, there it is. That is totally acceptable. but it will dry very quickly. It's rocking a little bit, but I have a pretty stable table here. I can't wait to move to a place where I can have a proper workbench for once, because this gives. If you watch lots of YouTube, there's a carpenter called Jay Bates, and he made this. Oh man, this table, it's built like a brick shit house. It's really, really thick, and I'll probably duplicate something like that. But a little variation in design, but I really like the main idea of it. He does good work. You should watch his channel. I drop in here and there and peek at what he's doing. Very capable. I'll have you know that I'm not playing around by doing this, because I do want this to clean off the back deck. Because if you rinse concrete with water and then squeegee it, you can get it so nice and clean. So this is not playing around, I'll have you know, because you probably understand that I'm in a lot of a hurry right now. So making a main channel video, it's just out of the question, which really sucks, because I have a lot of them that are really cool lined up. Some of them, it's just tragic that I haven't released them yet. I think I actually just mentioned a couple minutes ago that if you don't do them fast enough, somebody else will, and that has happened to me a couple times, where somebody else did something that I would really like to have released first. I'll tell you the one. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not attacking the guy. I'm nothing like of the sort. But there's another YouTuber, Jack Howling. He released a impossible when the buzzword was still hot, dovetail. And if you look at my channel page, like my main page, you'll see a sketch, and it's been there since the beginning. And that sketch is for an impossible dovetail trick box. And I was working on it right before he released it. And when he released it, I thought, oh no, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. I have to make a new piece. This should be straight as an arrow. Damn it. Okay, another delay. Anyhow, he's another YouTube personality he's very capable and very worth watching for his innovations. But, you know, I can't blame him. He got to it before I did. He would have no such way of knowing. And anyhow, this whole thing, people that have YouTube personalities or channels, it's not like it's about idea theft. It has nothing to do with that. Do you think he's starved for ideas? Of course not. That guy's filled with ideas. He doesn't need to steal ideas. I'm not making any such accusation. It's just that the video that he released ended up with millions of views, and damn, I wish I would have got to it first, Jack. Okay, rubber. But the box, though, I still could make the video because the box is nothing like his impossible dovetail. It's just that he got to the buzzword before I did. The box design that I made the blueprint for, you can only see a little bit of the sketch on the channel page, but I still have the piece of paper floating around on one of my clipboards. This is the thick stuff. I don't know what I was even thinking trying to save it, because look at it. It's a curvy mess, and plus it wore down from rubbing it on the asphalt a trillion times. What was I talking about? I'm sorry to be a scatterbrain. The impossible dovetail box, that's right. It was for my niece. And I never made it. But it was really It was really clever. It was the mechanism is really tricky and really clever, and I still want to produce it. I still want to make one and hopefully make a video, but as with all of my videos, they're just, it's so hard. I'm gonna add just a little bit, like another 1/8 of an inch. You don't want to add too much because then it becomes too floppy. You want, the shorter it is, the more rigidity it has. But I think I'm going to add just a little bit more than that one had. It could have used a little more flexibility, I think. So what was that? Oh, you know what? Some of it may have worn as well. Just from, I mean, I did the whole driveway. It was back and forth a million times. There's something on this. Okay, we'll go from this side. Oh, the mechanism. The impossible dovetail box. Yeah, there was a weird mechanism on it. You know what? I don't even remember how it works now that I'm thinking about it. I would have to review the drawing. It's been quite a while. But when I saw that came out, well, you know what? Now it happens all the time because it's way easier to think of ideas than it is to produce them. So you guys out there watching thinking, oh, I could do that better. Yeah, well, you know what? Go ahead. Do it. Do it better if you can. It's not as easy as it looks always. Making videos especially and producing ideas that are innovative, and you will have fans of certain channels and such come and say, so and so already did that. And again, I would defend myself with the thing I just defended Jack with. Do you really think I'm starved for ideas? Do you think I need to steal other people's ideas? Of course not. Napoleon's military advisors used to tell him, or they would tell him, you know, such and such did this when he invaded this, and so did this with respect to his military, or with respect to his strategy. And Napoleon's, now this is kind of arrogant, but Napoleon's approach to this was to ignore professionals because he didn't want to be flavored by their I don't know, tendencies. He didn't want to be influenced by them. He wanted to create his own strategy. I think there's a lot to that. It's impossible not to look at people who create things, other people who create things especially, and not be influenced by them. It happens. I mean, it happens heavily. Man, when I watch some of the guys' other videos, wow, their ideas, they're just really hard to not have it rub off. Like a boss, right? Now I should probably make sure it's warm when I put it on so that it contracts when it's cool and pulls tighter. Because if I put it on cool and it gets warm, then it'll buckle everywhere. Always thinking about expansion and contraction. I'm also thinking these screws snap that shut. Put parts together with fresh paint on them and they can be as strong as glue after they press for a while. I'm not even going to try to get that out, but hopefully it relaxed some of that clamping pressure on it. No. Huh. There might be a little bit of asphalt substance in there too, and paint now. And I also might have to try the alcohol trick again. But I was talking about, before I mentioned what's his name's workbench, this surface here, and it is surprisingly stable given what it is, and that's a contractor's saw. Well, wow, that worked. I think I'm in business. Now, if you have a contractor's saw, let me show you the modifications that you can make to it to make it a stable surface. And this piece of particle board with polyurethane on it, I can't even tell you what a wonderful surface it is to work on. It's lasted a very long time. This is ready to screw in. I'm just going to hit it with the heat gun and put it together off camera because you stared at that thing enough now. Okay, let's go back to freehand mode and I'll show you. The roll-off thing, the cut-off thing, I use that to support one end of the particle board. And the other thing that stabilizes this go under those enormous wheels. I have to take you off. This is one of those channel coves that you make on the table saw by running stock through at a mild angle over the blade, and it makes a cove. And I matched the cove to the tubing, and it allows this wheel to be up just 1/8 of an inch, and it gives it these skis that really solidify this thing. I mean, it's like a rock. If I really rack on it, I'll move this a little bit, but the way this is with these support, it's really solid, trust me. To take it off, you just pick it up by the handle and consider how the leverage works. It rocks on that, and this pipe will clear this cove molding, and the pipe or the wheel will be free to engage, and you can roll right off of those. So it is no inconvenience at all, and the benefit is considerable. This has been a good saw. I would recommend it. I was hesitant before to recommend it, but now, because I'm pretty critical of the engineering of contractor saws, and when I go to the box stores I can't help but look at them, and what they've done now, they're just junk. The fences are, look, fence, it's all about the fence. The saw is almost incidental because it's just a flat surface with a blade, and as long as the motor's powerful enough, and you're not going to have trouble with that because you can always use a 7 1/4 inch blade. The problems always come with, or complications come with the fence. If the fence isn't good, then the saw is going to suck to use. You have to be able to adjust it so that you can have consistency and repeatability and trust that it's not going to move. The first table saw I had was a hand-me-down from someone else, and I'm lucky I didn't lose fingers. It was a piece of crap. And that was before I was able to steal ideas from other people off of the internet, like the zero clearance insert, which totally changes the ease with which using a table saw can be had. Before that, it was just fumbling and oh my the first time I used one I was probably 13, unsupervised, and had no idea what to do. Now kids can watch and really gain some understanding before they even use the tool. But it's kind of funny because we're almost too extreme now with making people afraid, and that can have an opposite effect. Confidence can get you killed, but so can fear. I just warmed it up. I didn't make it hot, it's just warmer than room temperature. Because it's a little bit, I wouldn't say chilly, but it's cool today. It's Halloween. No Halloween laboratory this year. I'm too busy. You know, I never understood why people didn't watch those. I thought those were the coolest videos. I really went through some trouble in past years with the spooky laboratory. I mean, even if you're not into the whole Halloween get-up, just go check those out just because they're cool. There's just cool crap that I did for it. I mean, I made foam aliens and everything else, and fake brains. I even have like a plaster mold of a brain that I have in the other room. I didn't get around to casting a brain this year, but who knows? Future video potentially. Am I forgetting something? Did I promise you something else that I'm supposed to show you? I don't know. But I think I'm going to end it now. Okay, so there's a... I don't know why I put this rubber washer here, but it's also made for rubber roofing. Maybe just to help secure the handle. But wish me luck, and I really hope that I get out of here. I'm certainly going to miss this garage. I mean, it wasn't a bad shop until I outgrew it. But I'm sure you'll probably miss it too. I mean, some of you have been with me for quite a while. But that's it for this one. I am going to go film a quick about the balance beam. One of you has requested it, so I'll work on that, and then I'm going to get to work on more fruitful things. But I hope you enjoy this sort of just completely off the cuff rambling in me in my natural form, and if you do, let me know. Or else you might never see this sort of thing. I don't know what you like. Have a good day.